When the world's richest families throw weddings, they invite friends and relatives. But when the Ambanis do it, they invite Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, and Sundar Pichai. Why? Because this is not just a wedding, it's a global PR campaign disguised as a celebration. The Ambani family does not just organize weddings, they create spectacles that capture the world's attention. From luxury decor to celebrity performances, every detail is designed to dominate headlines. But what most people do not see is the machinery working behind the scenes, the invisible world of public relations, media buying, and influencer marketing. This story is not only about a wedding, it is about how influence is manufactured, sold, and sometimes even forced into our feeds. Transition to PR machinery. Ask yourself, why would tech billionaires and heads of state fly halfway across the world for a private wedding? The answer lies in power, perception, and influence. At the surface, a wedding is supposed to be a personal affair. Families celebrate, guests enjoy, and life moves on. Yet when it comes to the Ambani empire, the event transforms into a staged performance for global consumption. Social media is flooded with carefully timed posts, luxury magazines cover every outfit, and news channels dedicate entire primetime slots. None of this happens naturally. It is orchestrated. And the actors are not just celebrities. Influencers across industries are drawn into the strategy. Here is where things get interesting. Reports surfaced that influencers were approached and offered compensation to post about the wedding, but not just in the typical, "Look at this glamorous event" style. Instead, they were asked to frame it as an economic boost for India, portraying the event as more than a show of wealth. At least one influencer declined, saying it crossed ethical boundaries. That refusal opened a window into the real question: what kind of PR campaign tries to convert a personal wedding into a narrative of national economic progress? Why Ambani invited tech moguls? Mukesh Ambani's Reliance empire isn't just about oil and telecom anymore. It's pivoting toward technology, retail, and AI partnership. Inviting global moguls like Zuckerberg, Gates, and Nadella isn't about friendship. It's about signaling Reliance's future as India's tech powerhouse. These weddings double as networking summit, where billion-dollar deals are nurtured under the guise of celebration. Controversy critics argue that bringing in global elites while inequality in India remains stark is tone-deaf. Some commentators pointed out that while Ambani courts Silicon Valley, millions in India struggle with unemployment and poverty. The optics are clear. It's not only a wedding, it's a brand positioning exercise for Reliance on the world stage. The first layer of this story is money. When a wedding costs hundreds of millions, that money itself becomes part of the narrative. Media headlines push phrases like "boost to local industry" or "jobs created through luxury event." Tailors, caterers, hoteliers, event managers all benefit at least temporarily. But what is often missed is how these numbers are planted in the press by PR teams. No journalist calculates the economics of a wedding on their own. They are handed press releases, quotes, and curated talking points. The PR machinery provides the numbers, and suddenly the public is convinced that a private celebration has transformed into a patriotic act of economic stimulus. The second layer is influence. Social media influencers, who often act as the voice of authentic opinion, were asked to amplify this angle. Some were offered luxury stays, gift, and in some cases, direct payment. The idea was simple: if enough people on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter frame the wedding as a boon for the economy, the narrative spreads like wildfire. Public skepticism is reduced, and what could be criticized as excess becomes celebrated as national pride. Influence layer. Think about this: when Rihanna sings, headlines explode. When Zuckerberg posts, the algorithm pushes it global. When influencers repeat the same line, that this wedding boosts India's economy, suddenly excess looks like patriotism. Pause for a moment and think about that. A wedding being sold not as a personal milestone, but as an economic policy achievement. It is almost like a government campaign, except it is privately funded and designed to protect the image of one of the wealthiest families on earth. Here comes the question that should engage every viewer: what happens when the voices you trust online are not speaking their truth, but someone else's script? Think of the last time you saw an influencer praising an event, a product, or even a political message. Did you ever stop to wonder if that voice was authentically theirs, or if it had been purchased by a PR agency? The Ambani wedding is not just about wealth, it is a test case in how influence is manufactured. A system that ensures criticism is drowned out by praise, skepticism is softened by economic benefit, framing and luxury is disguised as national progress. This is not new in history. Royal families in Europe staged grand balls and ceremonies to project stability and prosperity. Hollywood stars were used in the Cold War to promote ideals of freedom. What is new today is the digital scale. Every phone becomes a billboard, every post becomes propaganda, and every influencer becomes a potential soldier in someone else's narrative. Ethical dilemma. So here's the real question. If influencers can be paid to turn a wedding into economic policy, what else can they be paid to sell you? A corporate scandal, a political agenda. Now let us explore the ethical dilemma. One influencer reportedly declined the offer, saying it was unethical to present a private luxury event as a national gain. That single refusal revealed what most influencers do not admit: that money is often exchanged for manufactured opinions. It also raised a larger debate: should influencers disclose when they are paid to frame narratives beyond product promotion? There is a clear difference between promoting a new phone and promoting the idea that a billionaire's wedding is good for the economy. One is commerce, the other is narrative manipulation. The machinery behind the scenes is not small. Large PR agencies were reportedly involved. They specialize in managing crises, buying headlines, and shaping sentiment. Think about the logistics managing thousands of media outlets worldwide, coordinating celebrity appearances, ensuring every photo released is flattering, and suppressing negative coverage. The cost of this PR operation alone could fund several large-scale businesses. And yet, because it is hidden, the public sees only the glittering outcome. Another important angle is the silence of mainstream media. Rarely did major outlets question whether influencers were being paid to promote this wedding. Rarely did they analyze how the narrative was shaped. Instead, they joined the chorus, amplifying the economic boost storyline without investigation. This silence is not accidental. When advertising revenue and access to elite events depend on good relationship, critical journalism often takes a backseat. Now, imagine if this machinery is applied to other areas. If a wedding can be sold as an economic miracle, what about a corporate scandal? What about a political agenda? If influencers can be hired to frame a private event as public progress, they can also be used to soften criticism of business practices, environmental damage, or even political corruption. This is why understanding the Ambaniwedding is bigger than gossip. It is a lens into how influence can be shaped at scale, and why transparency in influencer marketing is more important than ever. Some might argue, what is wrong with influencers being paid? After all, celebrities have always been paid to endorse product. The difference here is subtle but crucial. A product endorsement is commercial. It is transactional and usually disclosed. But framing a luxury wedding as an economic policy achievement crosses into propaganda. It manipulates public perception not just of a product, but of reality itself. That is where the ethical line becomes blurred. Think about this: the wedding had performances from global artists, luxury designers, and political figures. Each one was not just entertainment, it was strategic. When Rihanna performs, headlines go global. When prime ministers attend, the event gains legitimacy. When influencers push the economic benefit narrative, public opinion shift. All of this is meticulously designed. And behind it all is a team of strategists who understand that in today's world, perception is power. The deeper question is, why do billionaires need to buy narratives in the first place? The answer is reputation. In a country with stark inequality, billion-dollar weddings can easily trigger backlash. They can be framed as insensitive, excessive, or even exploitative. By investing in PR, the family insulates themselves. They convert criticism into admiration, excess into pride, and luxury into patriotism. It is not about the wedding. It is about protecting the empire's image for decades to come. Let us look at the psychology of influence here. When you scroll your feed and see multiple influencers praising the same event, your brain processes it as social proof. If enough people you trust say something, it feels real. That is the power of narrative engineering. The Ambani PR machine knows this. It is why they target influencers across niches: fashion, business, travel, and even economic. Each one speaks to a different audience, but together they form an echo chamber that drowns out criticism. What makes this story truly powerful is that one voice refused. That refusal, although small, exposes the machinery. It shows us that influencers are not just posting personal opinions, they are often participants in a hidden economy of influence. The refusal proves that ethical choices still exist, but it also reveals how rare they are. Takeaway: the Ambaniwedding proves one thing: in today's world, wealth doesn't just buy luxury, it buys perception. And perception is the most expensive currency of all. So here is the takeaway: the next time you see an influencer praising something unusual, ask yourself, whose script are they really reading? And the next time you see a narrative framing luxury as national progress, ask yourself, who benefits from that perception? The Ambaniwedding is a glittering reminder that what you see online is rarely the full picture. The truth often lies behind the curtain, in the hands of those who can afford to pull the strings.